Villanova just gets out to a massive lead, making every three it felt like in the first half. Led at half 44-16. Held on despite, incredibly, a 21-0 run by Memphis in the second half to still win this game 79-63. Get it out, man. You in the hat. Get it out. What do you want to say?
Listen, all I want to say is that there's a big difference between Villanova and Memphis, and I think we know that now. We still don't know how good this Memphis team really is because, frankly, they've beaten some teams right now that we're not sure how good they are. Now, again, they were solid wins. You beat Missouri, good win, right? You beat Michigan. Listen, it's better than losing to Michigan. You beat Arkansas last night. Probably looked a little bit better than it looks today, right? Like, I don't know if Missouri or Michigan are tournament teams at the end of the day. I think Arkansas will be one, but again, who knows? What I do know is that Villanova is in a different class. And I don't think Memphis is in that class right now that you can say they're a lock NCAA tournament team. I don't. Like, listen, they couldn't guard the three at all. They couldn't. Villanova was absolutely carving them up. They were moving the ball. Every shot looked uncontested. And then offensively, it honestly looked like an AAU team out there for the first half. Now, again, I give them credit. They fought back. They made it respectable in the second half. But this still, to me, today looks like a team that has a long way to go to be a lock tournament team.
I'm gonna abstain because I'm a host. I'm gonna be a host.
No,
okay.
But you're a Memphian. You're a Memphian.
I am a Memphian. I don't have enough time in the segment. to debunk you right now. I'm gonna go to Jerel, and I want to ask Jerel, is it really a negative, right? Or how much of a negative is it to say right now? And thank you for taking that off. You don't deserve to wear that. How much of a negative is it really to say that Memphis isn't in the same class as Villanova? What I really am asking here is how good is Villanova? They look to me like one of the best teams in the country.
No, absolutely. And I mean, just going off of that, I think it was I think I heard Jeff the other night say something. It's not always the fact that you lose in college basketball. A lot, it kind of matters how you lose, though. And I think that, like you said, it's spot on, man. I think that the story might be Memphis kind of laying the egg on both sides of the ball in that first half and just digging a hole that they couldn't get out of. But on the flip side of that, man, Nova did this to Maryland not too long ago, if I recall. Memphis was 4 for 27 from the field in the first half, and was down pretty much 30 the rest of the way, except when they made the little run in the second half. And they get them credit because those guys did look a lot more like the team that we thought that we were going to get in the matchup that we thought we were going to get in the second half. But, as we all know, basketball is a game of two halves. But, man, Villanova looks really good. And to be honest with you, man, they got the perfect balance. They got the right guys out of the portal. It looks like all of those guys have bought in the way Villanova plays traditionally ever since, the Jay Wright days. And then they got Justin Moore and Dixon, man. And those guys are kind of leading the charge, man. But those guys were playing together. They're playing old man style defense. They're not gambling and getting out of position. They're not overexerting themselves with the pressure. They're just locking in and making it really tough on teams, man. And Villanova looks like they're going to not just be a team to be dealt with later on in March, but, once the Big East rolls around, too, they got to be in the top 2 or 3 teams, I think, in the conference.
Yeah, and we do have an interview with Eric Dixon that we're going to get to here in just a minute. I do want to come back to you for a second, Jeff, though, because and Memphis lost, right? So Memphis is not and should not be the story. That's why we're going to get to Eric Dixon. But, Memphis is 5-1. They picked up 2 neutral site victories against a Big Ten team and a ranked SEC team. They beat Missouri at Missouri, which, again, you don't – and I'm just even strip away the name, right? Strip away whoever it is. For any team – that is able to do that and be 5-1. I mean, you're basically saying that a team that is going to be ranked in the top 25 on Monday is not a lock for the NCAA tournament. Do you realize how absurd you sound when you say that.
Well, look at their schedule coming up too, John. Now, I think they'll pick off enough of these teams. I give Penny a lot of credit because I think he's played a really good non-conference schedule, to whereas there's not so much pressure to have to win today's game. And to be honest, if you said to me they go 2-1 and they beat Michigan, they beat Arkansas, you'd sign up for that. Penny Hardaway would sign up for where they are right now in a heartbeat. So I think there's a lot of good things to take, especially from a team that was put together so late in the summer. We got to understand that too. Like, this wasn't a group that was done even in April or May. This was a group that a lot of the guys were still kind of, right? When did David Jones and Javon Quinterly, better than me, John, when did they commit to play for Memphis?
Very late.
It was
and show up late.
Correct.
Yep.
So I do think this is a team that's going to find their way. I like this team better than the last couple of years, to be honest, because they're old. Now, you got a lot of three-time transfers on this group, which kind of scares me in a way, when guys that have bounced around that much. They're not Villanova. They're not. They don't have that culture. Who does? Nobody.
Right.
I think, again, it says more about a Villanova team that I picked to go to the Final Four. I still don't know if their point guard plays good enough, but they were absolutely – that first half, 44-18 at the break, they blew the doors off of Memphis. Memphis, for the first half –
not even 18. It was only 16. It was only 16. So, yeah.
They didn't look like a CBI team in the first half. How's that?
Yes. Well, I can't argue with that. And I do think it is the story of the day, because this is a coach that in Kyle Neptune, it was very much and probably rightfully so questioned about, his ability to take over for Jay Wright after that. And I think he has quieted a lot of those critics. And maybe not. And well, look, we have an interview we got to get to. We can have that discussion afterward if you want to, but it is a good interview, and I do think we should play it because, again, they are the story of the day, winning this championship game